Hi, Santano. All good, all good. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining in today. I think this is your first time on the webinar.
It is. It is. Been here as a participant, but I've been watching all of your webinars.
Awesome. So I think we have a super interesting topic to talk about today, which is Figma with Zencoder. I know how much of a pain it is to navigate context, figuring out what designs, what kind of design we have in Figma, and then pulling them into your AI agent. So thank you so much, Pablo, for doing this. And so Pablo today will be walking us through on how to essentially uh, get your Figma design right in Zencoder so that you can build seamlessly. So, I mean, Pablo, if you want to do a quick intro and then kickstart the whole session.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I was very happy for you to propose this topic because actually it's one of the things that I think are going to bring some of the greatest revolution into the field. Because up until now, it was like a very clear, very definite step between design and then engineering, like a very defined. It's even called the handoff or handover between one side and the other, and I see that those lines are blurring. So on one side, we're seeing more designers that are starting to design directly in code. So, for example, that they feel a bit more comfortable nowadays just vibe coding something to prove a concept to show what it looks like, and some of them completely avoiding the design environment. So let's say we're seeing designers skip the process of creating interactive mocks and just directly go for the code. But then the interesting thing is that the other side is also getting closer, because Figma and other design tools have started creating ways to bring into coding agents more of the details of how those designs are being done. So now it's easier for agents to pick up those details and then generate the code. So basically, the two worlds are coming closer and closer, and I think that's very exciting because I think the result of that is going to be more and faster experimentation, more and faster building of products. And today, in particular, you asked, let's take a look at the Figma MCP, and I
Mhm.
think it's a fantastic way to approximate this topic.
Awesome. Sounds good. So I think without much delay, the stage is all yours. So over to you, Pablo.
Okay, so going to be sharing my screen. Sharing my screen now. Let me first start talking about where do you find information about this Figma MCP. There are some official documentation about the Figma MCP. Today we're going to be using the Figma MCP server, the local server installation of the Figma MCP server. And what I'm going to be doing, like practically on the screen, is that I'm going to be taking a design and then I'm going to be replicating it with code using Zencoder and using the Figma MCP. So I'm going to start with a project that I already found from the community. This is an order tracking system. It's basically a project that somebody from the community has designed. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to take as a challenge to replicate this design, which is purely a Figma design with code. How does that sound, Santana?
That sounds perfect. Would love to see how Zencoder can turn this into a magic. So yeah, super
So
excited.
So let's start with Figma. No? So basically, just so that you know what I have done here, I looked for this project that I found interesting in terms of design and scope. It's an order tracking system. So basically, it tracks for a number of products that you might have ordered from an e-commerce. How is the delivery going? And this is purely a Figma project. So basically, I have the project open in Figma, and you will notice something, which is that I have activated here the dev mode, right? So the next thing that we're going to be doing is that we're going to go into Zencoder, and then we're going to configure the Figma MCP. So I have a blank project open in Zencoder, and I have already done the steps. So let me know if you can see properly the size of the screen.
Yep.
I'm going into the three dots menu, tools, and then you see here that I have added a custom tools, which is Figma Desktop MCP. The way that I did this is simply by going into add custom MCP, and then I typed in here these details for the MCP server config, which I found in that documentation that I was mentioning earlier, in the official documentation for the Figma Desktop MCP. An important, so you see that basically these instructions, the type HTTP and the URL for where the MCP is coming from, I have just copy pasted from the official Figma documentation. One important thing that I will call out is that in order for this to work, I need to keep my Figma app open. So if I go back for a second to my Figma app open, you see that we have a section here talking about the MCP server, and you see that the status is that it's enabled. So that's how we know that the whole thing is connected. So far so good. Santano, any doubts or anything that would be worth commenting deeper up until that point?
No, I guess so far so good, and we don't have any more questions coming up. But yeah, if something comes up, I'll surely ping you. I mean, I'll surely bring on the screen.
Okay, amazing. So just to do a recap, what we have done is that we have used the Figma MCP documentation to configure the Figma MCP in Zencoder. Now we have the tool listed in under custom tools. One extra check that we can do to make sure that things are working correctly is that we can go into the agents page, and we can go into the code agent. That's the one that we're going to be using for the exercise. And I can see here that among the tools that have been configured for the agent is the Figma Desktop MCP, which is the one that we were talking about. Then in parallel, what I have is a project that I have opened in Figma, and I have several of the screens that come that make up this project, and we're going to be trying to mimic with code this one. Before I do that, let me do one thing. I'm going to just open a new conversation with the agent. You see that I have like very basic configs set up here. I'm talking with the code agent. I'm in auto for the mode selector, and I have auto apply. And I'm going to very naively ask, do you have Figma MCP? I just want to confirm that the agent is able to access the Figma MCP and all those tools that come with it. I can already see in a second that as the agent was thinking, the agent detected that it has all these tools coming from the Figma Desktop MCP. Let me go one by one, or at least let's do a bit of a recap, because this is interesting to get into the detail. We see that the agent will be able to get metadata about the design because there is a get metadata tool. We see that the agent will be able to get a screenshot because there is a get screenshot tool. Then there is another one which is get design context, and so we know that the agent will be able to get all the context of how the design is coming about, and then get variable definitions, because in Figma you can have an element, for example a button, and the button can have some variables, and the agent through the MCP is going to be able to see all of that. So without further ado, let's go to Figma, and we pick the frame that we want to copy in code, this one, and then we do right click and copy link to selection. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click on the section that I want to recreate, and then I do copy link to selection. Very important, because this is this is key, otherwise it doesn't even work. I need to be in dev mode. Dev mode from Figma is where I need to be able to do copy link to selection, and then what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm going to be asking from the agent, let's recreate this design from Figma, and let me just, without any other instruction, let me see where the agent comes from. If we see that the agent doesn't have enough to get started, then we will steer it. But I just want to, I'm feeling lucky today, so I'm going to just say, let's recreate the design from Figma, and I can already see that the agent is using the MCP, and in particular the tool get design context. I also see that it's getting a screenshot from the design. and now I see that it's looking at the project repository to see what do we have already, and because this we have nothing, it's starting from scratch. I see that the agent is asking me a few questions. This is one of my absolute favorite functionalities from Zencoder, the fact that it can ask you questions to clarify. And I think I'm going to just ask it to create, to use to recreate the design React with Tailwind CSS. And then I'm going to say to create a new project from scratch. So once I have answered those two questions from the agent, now I see that the agent is going to go and tackle the challenge that I have set to the agent to recreate this design from Figma. And Santanu, as the agent is doing these things, obviously it's going too fast for me to go and read and comment everything that the agent is doing, but I'll try to pick up on any occasion in which I see that the agent is using the Figma MCP, no? Because that's the difference between having the Figma MCP and having these capabilities, and what previously was the previous capabilities. No, before the Figma
Yeah.
MCP, we would have needed to recreate mostly with the screenshots, copy pasting, and things like that. But right now, what I can see even in here is that it's even getting the same SVG icons that were present in that Figma design, and it's using them in the design.
Yeah, that is super interesting. I think that makes the whole integration a way lot, a way more interesting. I mean, just a quick question on this note, Pablo. So, I mean, let's say if I want to, make a change for a specific, the order form that you just showed us, right? Let's say if the designer makes any specific changes to it. So, and I just want to make, that change or copy that change from Figma to
Mhm.
Zencoder. So, can I do that, or do you have to just let the agent know that, hey, I've updated the Figma checkout and implement? How does that? I mean, how does that update thing would work in this case?
Yeah, that's interesting. So for the purpose of this demo, I chose something relatively ambitious, which is that I picked like this whole frame, which has many components. But any component that is available in Figma can 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 be done the same. So basically, if I wanted to update, for example, this part, I could just the same selected and copy the link to that selection,
Mhm.
and then send that link to Zencoder and ask for a specific change into only that section. So that's fully possible. Imagine that we changed the layout of the top of the page. I could actually select that new page, copy link to selection, and then send it to Zencoder and say, hey, we're going to just be changing this part of the screen.
Interesting.
So in other words, anything that can be selected in Figma can be referenced to through the Figma MCP. And obviously the agent will have an easier time recreating something that is smaller than something that is larger for the usual aspects of context window and so on. Uh, but I wanted to give it a go, and you see how many files the agent has created
Yeah.
here. I'm very curious to see what the first result is. To set the expectations, I expect it will have done a somewhat decent result, but that we will need to tweak something. So let me try npm run dev,
Hmm. Okay.
and this is the result that we got. Okay, so this is
Neat.
this is quite close to what we
Yeah.
originally had in the design. No, I can see that I
Yeah.
have the breadcrumbs on top, then I have the order ID, then I have my
Right.
two buttons, then the order date, estimated delivery. I have the line here with the different
Yeah.
statuses that I will want to fix. Then there's the products, and then there's the payment and delivery, and then the bottom of the page. But here's the thing, that's totally part of the process, no? So if in this occasion it has not done a great job in recreating, for example, I'm not satisfied with how it has recreated
The,
the dates
the
tracking, because
timeline.
I'm missing, for example, the circle, and all those parts. I'm going to actually copy that section, and I'm going to tell the agent to improve this section with greater attention to detail from the original in Figma. And now I can paste specifically that section. That is the one that I wanted to be a bit better than the first result.
Interesting.
So let's see how it does that improvement.
So, quick again, one more question on this. So we have a web dev agent as well. So, as a developer, what would you recommend? I mean, would you recommend going with the existing coding agent, or do you think one should switch to the web dev agent and it would do a better job?
Truly, the web dev agent is another good option. The only reason why I went for the code agent in this occasion was to have a bit more of to be a bit more hands-on for the purpose of the demo. But it's true that because we have a web dev agent, the web dev agent can also navigate the project and would maybe be able to pick some defects on my behalf. But in this case, I wanted to be the one doing it, no? But definitely for anyone wanting to replicate, actually let me go and do it. Let's do it together. So if I pick the web dev agent and I'm going to say improve. Let me reload this, and I'm going to say improve the actually, let's pick now the images from the products, no? Because that was something that we saw that in Figma.
Right.
In Figma was not. We did not pick that up from Figma, so I'm going to use the web dev agent, and I'm going to ask improve the product images from Figma. And in this case, I'm just going to copy again the whole section.
Okay.
Copy link to selection, and I paste that, and then I send it.
Interesting.
It has taken, as you can see, it has taken a slightly different path in which it has opened the website because it's the web dev agent. So in this case,
Right.
it has opened the web to try to identify the images, which is not, if you think about it, is not exactly what I wanted to happen. So in this case, I'm going to back down. I'm going to come back to the code agent, and instead, what I'm going to ask from the code agent is to pick the exact same images that you see for the products. Let me do that.
Right.
I'm actually going to command it even more directly, which is something that is possible. Use Figma MCP to use the exact same product images. And then I'm going to just send with that command something very specific to reuse those same product images. Other than that, I see that it has improved already the product delivery
the
product
timeline.
delivery timeline. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
So now the code agent, and specifically when I'm doing this such a specific command of use Figma MCP to extract the same product, is going very much to the point. No, so it's getting design context. It's looking at the at the product images that were already existing, and I'm just going to say just update the design to fix it using the images from Figma.
Mm-hmm.
So we just reflecting on what we saw back there. I think we learned something there, which is that the web dev agent, when you're trying to use the Figma MCP and you're trying to use the web dev agent at the same time, it can get confused a bit, no? Because it can try to open the Figma link and try to see it, and yes, it will see it, but it's more direct if it sees it directly through the Figma MCP. And actually, let's take a look at now. Now we are using the exact images from the Figma design. So now to me looks much better. There is one more thing that I want to do to this to feel more satisfied with the result, which is that it looks better as a column instead of as occupying the full width of the screen. So I'm going to start a new chat with the code agent, and I'm going to ask make this design that we took from Figma occupy a column centered in the middle of the screen instead of occupying the full width as it is now. And because the agent obviously doesn't have the context, because I started a new conversation, I need to copy again the link to Figma and paste it again for this new conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's using the Figma desktop MCP. It's getting the context again to get familiar with the Figma design. But just I want to double down on how much effort we have saved by using the Figma MCP, because even though this is like a standard, well, this is not like a too complex of a design, but the amount of time and effort that we have saved by connecting the Figma MCP, it's amazing. That's one thing that has me very excited about these opportunities. So now I see that it has identified which component it is. This is the order tracking TSX file, and then the React app for it, the app TSX, and I see that it's wrapping it, and I'm quite excited about seeing the result. Look at this, Antonio.
Wow,
This is actually
beautiful.
pretty close to the original.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's it's not just close; it's exactly what Figma just had. I mean, super amazing.
Yeah, let me show you something. That this is a small detail, but it speaks to how close it is. There is a typo. There is a typo, like an error in the original Figma design. Instead of saying out for delivery, it says out
How
for
what did it-
delivery. And in the
Oh my
copied
god!
design, obviously it says out for delivery, just exactly the same as the
Wow,
it has copied it so well that it has copied the typo that we had in the design.
interesting. AI being AI, this is nice.
Hmm.
Wow.
So these and the possibilities from this really make me happy, because now you can have, like, like both worlds getting a bit closer together. You can design something in Figma, and if you really want it like that, you can start building it like very fast. And on the other hand, it still leaves the other possibility of, if you want to design directly by coding, you can go to Zencoder as usual, spin up a quick project and do it, and so on. So basically, it speaks a bit about the ethos of Zencoder, of basically bringing everything under the same umbrella, all those possibilities.
Interesting. I mean, this is super amazing. I'm super amazed to see how seamlessly it implemented everything that he had in Figma. So I think we almost there. If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I can pull up, and Pablo can help you answer if you have anything related to Figma integration, anything related to plugin. We'd be more than happy to take it up. I think we should wait for 30 minutes, 30 seconds or so
Yeah.
for people.
If there is none, or while we wait for it, happy to do a bit of a recap of everything that we did and how we achieved it, so that anyone that saw this and saw how close we were able to replicate the design, how they would do it themselves. So the first step is, and I believe we can drop this in our communities. Let's drop it in Discord. Get into the Figma docs about the MCP server. This is just so that you can copy the command that you're going to be bringing into Zencoder. So you're going to be going into tools, add custom MCP, and then you're going to be adding that server config in here. The second thing that you're going to be doing is that you're going to be finding yourself some design that you want to clone into code. Typically, this will be a design that you yourself have done in Figma. In this occasion, I took just a project from the community. Figma has this place called Figma Community, where you can, if you don't have a Figma design at hand, you can find many in here just to play with. And finally, what you're going to do is, once you have all that, you're going to start a new conversation with an agent. We're recommending the code agent, and then what you're going to be asking from the code agent is, please recreate this design in code. And then what you're going to be doing to give the proper context of what design do you mean, is that you're going to go to your project in Figma. Always remember to be in design dev mode to have the dev mode toggle, and then you're going to copy link to selection, and then you're going to paste that for the agent in Zencoder. So you're going to be asking from the agent, please clone this project, please clone this design from Figma, and then you're going to be giving that. And then, as you know, with the Figma MCP, the agent will be able to see the design, to see all the details from the design, to see all the images, and create a clone of the design as good as the one that you saw that we did live here.
Makes sense. I don't think we have any questions, Pablo. So, if no more questions, I think we can close down for the day. But if you still have any questions and if you're shy enough to ask on this live stream, feel free to reach us out on Discord, emails, or Slack. We'll be more than happy to assist. And Pablo's there, I'm there, Leon is there, everybody from the team is there. So we'll be there to help you out if you're stuck somewhere. I think before we close on, any final note, Pablo? Do you want to give it out to the community?
Um, One final note, which is not to be discouraged. We saw it, and I was actually happy that we saw it. Not to be discouraged if on the first go it generates one part that does not look perfect, because you can see that very easily. You can just point at that section and say, "Hey, please improve this or improve that," and just with a couple tweaks you can get it to perfection. So obviously there's a bit of hype, and the hype can be up when you start using one of these tools and thinking that you're going to get like 100% exact result the first time that the agent goes at it. But as you saw, it may take you like one or two extra messages with the agent to get it right, and it's totally worth it. So my message to the people listening would be not to be discouraged if on the very first attempt it didn't get one or two parts exactly right.
100%. I agree on that front. Having said that, once again, thank you so much, Pablo, for joining in today. This was super, super wonderful. I loved the whole session. I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly. This will be live on our LinkedIn as well as on YouTube. So I'll share across the links in the community right after this call. And having said that, once again, thank you so much for everyone who's joined in today. Uh, See you again next week. And next week, we have something super interesting where we'll be exploring how do you integrate local models in Zencoder. And we'll be having Alex after a long time back on stream. So thank you so much, Pablo. Thanks everyone for joining in. I'll see you again next week.
Thank
Till
you.
then, take care.